Do you know who I am?
Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Wordy, the show where we will ask questions such as, who is your favorite Hobbit? I know mine. I know if Billy has yours, but we'll see. I am your host, Robert.
I'm your other host, Billy.
And today we have a lot to get to. We have the new Star Wars series, The Bad Batch, just came out. I got some comic book pickups that I think you're going to be very interested in. And Billy has whatever he's going to do. We don't know every week. So
I'll have something new next week, so tune in then.
ooh, surprise.
I have a few things.
Do you have a favorite Hobbit, Billy?
So I've actually never seen any of the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit movies. So I'm just gonna have to go with the one that I know, which is Frodo.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Rob?
Bilbo Baggins. Bilbo's a really nice one.
I know him too.
But you didn't pick him, so.
Yeah, all those are on the list. It's just that that's such a long series that it's gonna take me a while to get through.
Mm-hmm. But you also may have noticed that I am in a new location. Well, it's actually the same location if you see the background, but I am in my new little cubby area, kind of mimicking Billy, but of course he's already admitted to me off camera that I am better. So maybe this is just a better setup than his. I don't know. You be the judge. Whose setup is better, mine or Billy's?
I did admit off camera.
I don't know.
Well, if you guys, so a few days earlier than when you're watching this, or than when this is put out, I'm not sure when you're watching this, we put out another video, which was our short trivia episode 2, which is when Rob gave me like a Jeopardy style trivia on like literature, geography, and stuff.
Mhm.
Basically, all things I stink at, and I do terribly. So go check that out. It's hilarious. You could definitely do better than me, and I'm not just saying that. Like I get a badge. So you should go. You should go try it out.
Oh yeah. It was not fun. Not fun whatsoever.
It was so much fun, but it was so bad.
But now we gotta get into the first word, which is going to be about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 3. We are halfway done with this series, Billy. And let's see. I think the count is that you gave me the first word the last time, so I think now the first word is diverged onto you.
Yeah, I mainly just have one first word for this because I'm mostly focused on how the progression of the new Captain America goes. And at first, I didn't. So at first, I was like, no, I like Steve Rogers as Captain America. And then we got a little bit of the backstory, and then I was like, okay, seems like he generally wants to do well at this role, but we can start to see it's really go into his head in the opening scene.
Mhm.
And I won't give up too much because this is just the opening word, but yeah, you can just tell that being Captain America is just going straight to his head. So, well,
Mhm.
I don't really like that, and we'll see how it goes. And then just seeing a progression of how Sam views the legacy that is the shield and how it changes throughout this whole thing was also very
Mhm.
interesting, which we can get into. And we finally get
Yep.
Agent 13 in here, which I'm very happy about. It's about time.
Yes.
Only took like 3 episodes, but we got there.
Only halfway through.
Only halfway through. And Rob, what are your first words?
Well, I thought this was a really good episode. Really nice way to start the first half. I thought these last 3 episodes were really good. I did find it interesting because the last time we spoke about this, I had questioned whether Baron Zemo was going to be someone that they were going to ally with, someone that was going to be maybe a villain who will maybe ally with the Flag Smashers a little bit. And I'm still questioning this, because later in the episode, we see that he's about to dip. And I thought he was actually going to leave and do whatever he thought he was going to do because, like, he put on the Zemo mask. And
Yeah.
that's just like an indicator to me that, like, he's going to do something. But then he came back and he just wanted to get his car. So I'm kind of still on the fence about him. I'm not really sure what his intentions are. I mean, obviously, he's trying to help, but I still feel like there's a little bit of villainy still in there that we have not yet explored yet because we have just found him in this episode. We don't really see what his ultimate goals are. He obviously doesn't want to have the super soldiers running around, but there might be something a little bit more to him. I still feel.
Yeah, can I add Can I add something quick to that?
Yeah.
In Far From Home, spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen it, so cover your ears. But like how Mysterio
Mhm,
is, like he in the comic books is a villain, and like throughout the whole trailer and the whole
mhm,
beginning of the movie, they portray him as like a superhero to help Spider-Man face the elementals, and he's an ally to Spider-Man. Like they're a team. And then like
mhm.
halfway through it shifts, and that whole thing was a lie. So I'm wondering if it's something like
Yeah.
that, where not necessarily that he's orchestrating anything in this series, but I think it's going to be like an ally, and then it's
Mhm,
just going to turn heads over heels at some point in it.
mhm. Because we do see in the trailers that like Baron Zemo has like the image of like the bullets getting dropped out of the hand right in front of his face.
Mhm.
That's like one of the only shots that we see of him in the trailers of this series. So, and we see him in this whole episode kind of almost be an ally, even though an antagonistic ally. So let's get into the deep dive of this episode because even though this was a really good episode, I feel like there's not a lot here to deep dive much into. This was a pretty clear, cut and dry. They were going here, we're going to do this, we're going to go here, we're going to go do this, we're going to go here, we're going to go do this. It was pretty straightforward. There was not a lot of mystery or intrigue about it. It was pretty straightforward.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. I think the main points that at least me personally want to dig deep on is how you think or what you think of the new Captain America, and that specifically that opening scene and the jail break scene, the scene after they
Mhm.
break him out of
Yeah.
jail. So what do you think about
So,
those?
so I think that new Captain America. So we see in the beginning part of the episode, we see like a commercial for the new repatriation council or something, the National Repatriation Council,
Something like that, yeah.
NRC. We're gonna call it NRC because I completely forget the name. I only watched it once.
That's okay.
Um, the NRC, which has established itself as looking like this global peacekeeping system that's going to establish everybody back that came from the blip, and they're going to make the lives better again, try and transition back into normal. And it's this very nice little video that you can see like in commercials or something. And then right afterwards, we see military guys coming out of an NRC van, and it's a GRC. It's GRC, Global Repatriation Council,
That's
right?
what it is,
Not
yes.
national.
Nice.
So we see the soldiers coming out of the GRC van, and we see none other than John Walker, Captain America himself.
Mhm.
And they're trying to find the flag smashers by their own means. So they made into one of the safe houses that they were staying at, and he goes up to one of the guys and he's asking Battlestar to translate for him. And he's like, where are these people? Where's the leader? I forget her name, but like, where's her? Where is she? Where are they? Where'd they go? And he's not talking.
Mhm.
And this line kind of really got to me, and I think it got to you too, Billy, where he said, "Do you know who I am?" Like, do you really think that the Captain America symbol was super powerful in that instance? Because the guy looked like he was not giving a damn whatsoever about any of the things that they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And this new Captain America was getting frustrated. And he was like, "Do you know who I am? Like, do you see what I'm wearing? Do you see the shield I have?"
Mhm.
And I think you're right that he has gotten a little bit of power mad in him.
Yeah. I 100%. What do you think about the idea, though, of he? So everyone respected Steve Rogers as Captain America just because of who he was and what he stood for, and all the stuff he did to help everyone. Him taking up the role, people like him as a celebrity, but they don't necessarily respect him like they did Steve Rogers,
Mhm.
and he's having a hard time with that, and he's going about
Yeah.
it wrong. Like he's trying to get respect,
Yeah.
but he's doing it in the wrong way. And I agree. I think he's getting
Mhm.
frustrated because of that.
Like, the question I would say is, like, does he present fear? Like, when you see him coming, do you want to run away? Like, let's say, like, in Avengers 2, right? We see the Avengers are coming. Does Captain America from that have the same kind of fear as the Captain America that we just saw in episode 3? My guess is probably not, because he does not strike me as someone who is fearful. You know, they made him look as intimidating as possible, and he has a shield, yes, but it's not Steve Rogers. And I think this guy knows that. And I think he knows that it's kind of like having like a mascot come up to you and try and like get you out of the stadium. It's not going to happen, you know. The security guards are the ones that are going to make you fearful. It's not going to be the mascot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think from like one perspective, no, not gonna necessarily strike fear in enemy eyes. But I would
Mhm.
say, like for people who he should be protecting, like citizens, like innocent people,
Mhm.
uh, citizens from anywhere. If say if I was at a shopping plaza that's up the street of my house, and something happened there, and he showed up, or Captain America, Steve Rogers showed up, I would be more fearful if uh, he showed up because he's more of a loose cannon, and
Mhm.
I'm not really sure what. Like, it's hard to see what he stands for in a sense. Like
Mhm.
Steve Rogers would make sure no one got hurt at all. Like he would
Mhm.
do his due diligence to make sure no one got hurt and he got the job done. He would take
Mhm.
whatever he needed to make sure no one got hurt. So like
Yeah.
citizens, I feel like feel more safe in his presence.
Mhm. But it is an interesting scene, and during this entire episode, we really don't see much of the new Captain America, and I think that was the point. I think the point was to try and understand the dynamic between not only Sam and Bucky, but also Sam, Bucky, and Zemo. Because that's where we get into the next scene where even though fake Captain America is trying to do every lead he can to try and find the Flag Smashers, they're going to go about it going after Zemo himself because he has Hydra secrets. He knows about things about Hydra because he read the book. So we go to him and we see him in the prison cell
Mm.
and we see him talking to Bucky. And I knew he was going to do this in this episode where he's doing the code words to Bucky to see if they still work on him, even though
Yeah,
he had the Wakandan refresh, you know, reboot of his brain basically to make sure he didn't have this Hydra thinking inside him anymore. But you just want to test it out, kind of see, kind of like give a little bit of a spark to it, you know?
yeah. Push the buttons.
But we see that he's trying to get any kind of information on any new super soldier serum that is being created. And Zemo obviously looks like astonished because again, we had seen and we even got told in this episode that Zemo does not want any new super soldiers. He's
No.
against that. His only goal in Civil War was to disband the Avengers because of his family's death in Sokovia. That was his only goal.
Mhm,
And that's why Sam didn't go into the room with him because he's an Avenger. And we all knew what Zemo feels about them.
mhm.
So that's why Bucky went in there himself. But the only way for him to reveal this information was to break out of prison. And of course, guess what he does? Breaks out of prison in the most really weird way possible. Like, he breaks out of prison. So, like, Sam gives one of the prisoners a note, which causes there to be a fight and a riot inside the prison. You know, that's pretty
Wait,
standard.
Sam does or Bucky does?
I think it was, I don't know, it was Sam or Bucky, one of the two.
I thought Sam was
I'm
like
not sure
completely
who.
unaware.
I don't know. Oh,
I
you
don't
may
know.
be right. You may be right.
Okay.
So it may have been Bucky. So Bucky or Sam, forget who. Again, only watched it once. Um, gave the prisoner the note. They started a fight in the riot. But then, how is his cell door just open that he can just escape? Like, shouldn't his cell door be shut and secured and monitored at all times? Like, how is it that he's able to just get out?
Wasn't there like that key card in the book that Bucky put in there?
See, I didn't notice. I thought that was the note. I didn't know that it was the key card. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. I thought he took the key
Yeah.
card from like the security room or something.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I guess like the
Yeah.
details of exactly how the breakout happened isn't necessarily that important to the storyline. So,
Yeah.
right, just
But
that
we
he.
know that like during the entire conversation between Sam and Bucky, when they were saying like, oh, hypothetically, maybe there's going to be something that happens that causes there to be a fight that causes the prisoners to be now like rounded up, and then the
Mhm.
fire alarm goes off, so everybody has to be evacuating, and then there's somehow, some way, all this chaos. Zemo's going to be, slipping through, and then we see, guess what? Zemo's there
Sam's not happy.
right there to see Sam's face and go like, "What are you doing? Why is he here?" And he's kind of pissed because this is again, even though he's no longer needing these intentions to disband the Avengers, he's still a criminal. As Sam said, like he blew up the UN. He blamed Bucky for the assassination of T'Chaka in Civil War.
Mhm.
So he's still a criminal. He's still a murderer. He's still an anarchist in a way.
Mhm.
So there is a little bit of animosity between, letting him be on the mission and be out of prison and the sacrifice that that has to take to get that information so that way they can stop the flag smashers.
Mhm. Yeah, a little bit of compromising that they have to do.
We see that uh, Zemo knows where they're going to go. They have some contact in Madripoor, and this is where we're going to be going next. And we find out that, of course, Zemo's rich because he's a baron
Mhm.
and he's had all this wealth and money. Surprisingly, he's not been able to reduce his sentence or anything, but
Well,
that's
I
what
thought he said
barons
something
do.
about before like the Avengers destroyed his nation, so his nation I don't think exists
Mhm.
anymore. So maybe that's
Yeah,
a
but he
lie.
still has his money because he has the plane and he has like his pilots, so like he still has money.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's important to the story that he has a plane, so that way they can be able to go off to Madripoor.
Mhm.
So we go over there, we meet up into this car, and we're gonna be meeting up with this. I don't know what you would call this lady. I'm gonna call her like a black arms dealer, a black market dealer on this kind of stuff. Someone that's like a contact that they just need to drop in on. Um, and what was interesting is that like they're in the car and they're driving, and then they get like a motorcycle escort. So Madripoor is obviously like this very uh, strict country that we
Mhm.
are in. Um, so there's a lot of security, and especially since they're outsiders, they probably want to make sure that like they're not going to do anything fishy, and that's why they have these fake names, because anything like, as we see later in the episode, anything that reveals their real identity, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
We go to the club, and we're up to point where we understand that Sam is playing this role as like another arms dealer or something. He's a dealer in some form or fashion that wants to
Mhm.
talk to this contact, and we have Zemo there who's also wanting to be there, have his reputation there, because he said that like he only knows of this contact through reputation, not through actual meeting. So
Mhm.
he needs Sam there to kind of have a balance of like, we're gonna meet up with him and me. And they have the bodyguard, which is Bucky. And people, I guess, don't know that he's not the Winter Soldier yet. What did you think about this whole scene when Zemo told him to attack and he just like beat the crap out of all these guys in the bar?
I'm gonna take a quick step back, only because when Sam had to
Mhm.
drink whatever that was with the snake something, oh my god, that was
Oh yeah.
disgusting. I felt so.
the thing out of the snake, and he was like, "Oh my god, I have to drink this." And it's like, yeah, and he took it like a champ, and he swallowed that.
Oh my god. Like oh, mm, okay.
It's kind of like the blue milk in Star Wars. It's just disgusting.
uh, okay, yeah, I just had to mention that. Good job, Sam. uh, but I felt really bad for Bucky. What I thought was
Mm,
interesting was they did put the music sting in the background when he was doing it
mhm.
to really get like the
Yeah.
vibe going, I guess. And
The
like,
vibe of just killing people.
well, like, so what was interesting, I thought was, well, so like we know he knows how to fight, so like it wasn't gonna just be like
Hmm.
he couldn't take care of himself. But I feel bad that he just had to do it. I mean, he's trying
Yeah.
to like be better, and then like being put in a situation. He's trying to like move forward from this, but he's put in a position where he has to go back and has to do it willingly.
Hmm.
It's not just something where it's like an exercise where he has to visualize through things. He actually has to like go through the actions of being who he's trying to not be anymore. And it doesn't seem like he actually has that hard of a time doing it. Like he doesn't seem like he has a problem with it, or he just
Hmm.
hit it well. It doesn't seem like he ever had an internal struggle with it. Like Sam asked
Hmm.
him after, and he said he was okay.
Hmm.
I'm not quite sure exactly how he felt. I just felt bad that he had to be put in that situation.
Hmm.
It was interesting. What about you?
Like I feel like Bucky. I think it's like a kind of like stress therapy. He's kind of letting his anger out. Because he probably still has like all these like very intense emotions, and he's kind of facilitating it through hitting people. Even though rule number two is don't injure people,
Hmm.
he's gonna be hitting people because I think he has a lot of emotional turmoil within himself that he's trying to work on. But I think it's just coming out in the way that he knows best, and it's just fighting people.
I didn't think about it like that, and I agree.
Hmm.
That very well could be the reason. Like, I agree.
Yeah. So now we see the black market dealer who gives the information about the super soldier serum to a professor, a doctor who's been working on it for many years. And she gives the contact information to it. But then out of the blue, we get a phone call from Sam's sister about the boat. And of course, Sam is trying to keep in the character, and he's like, I'm going to kill the bank teller because he did that to our boat, you know? And he's still trying to keep his composure. But then she says, she's like not in on it. So, like, she says, what are you talking about, Sam? And the Black Arms dealer is like, Sam. And then it's like, oh no, cover's blown, everything's gone down. And she's like, kill them, and they just start going out and creating chaos, and they have to try and escape.
Mm.
But as they're trying to escape, obviously there's a lot of gunfire and everything, and like they're running trying to escape and everything, and eventually they get a guardian angel who is
Sorry, Agent 13.
so we see that Sharon Carter has actually been in Madripoor ever since Civil War because she
Ooh,
has to
really
go on
quick.
the run because she
Sorry.
yeah.
I guess the name of the bar that they were in is also the name of a bar that is important in the X-Men movies with Wolverine. I guess the name overlaps somehow.
What's the name of the bar, do you know?
I have the article on my phone. I can pull it up. I also send it to you.
I'm not gonna go on with speculation about like the X-Men and the MCU because they already trolled us once with uh, fake Pietro as being Ralph Boner, and I'm over it. I'm not trying to do that anymore. I'm not trying to speculate on that. If it happens, it happens. I don't really care anymore. I know they're gonna come in at some point, but if they're gonna try and troll us again, you're not gonna catch me doing that, Marvel. First time it happens, shame on me. Second time it happens, shame on you for doing it again. You know,
I thought it was.
I'm
I
not
thought it
gonna.
was. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was one time
It is,
shame on
but
you, two times shame on me.
I'm not gonna get fooled. You know, I'm not gonna do that. You only got me once. I'm smart enough to not know about that.
Like I don't think it's the same bar, but they
No.
definitely did it with intention as either a reference or
Mhm.
to it was definitely on purpose. That's such a strange name that
Yeah.
it wasn't not done with some intent, whether to cause mass
Speculation.
speculation, yeah,
Mhm.
or an actual connection of some sort.
I don't know.
Okay, I disrupted. Continue.
We get to see Agent Carter, who we last saw in Civil War because
Mhm,
she had to go on the run as well because she gave Cap's shield and Falcon's wings to them while they were on the run, trying to prove that Bucky was innocent and prove that the super soldiers were involved with Zemo and everything.
mhm,
Um, So we see her, and she has a little bit of resentment towards these guys. You know, she has not forgiven them because she kind of lost her life. She's not spoken to her parents
mhm,
in years. We don't know if she was blipped out or not, but it seems like she's had a really hard time trying to, you know, get her life that she once had back. You know, she has a pretty decent life in Madripoor, but I think it's not the one that she wants. And that's why she asks Sam for a clean slate in exchange for the information on this doctor that we're going to see.
mhm. I felt so bad for her character. It seems like
Mm,
she'd been through so much and kind of let go a little bit in a sense.
mhm,
Sam and all of them had, like she said, the Avengers backing and got pardoned and everything and were
mhm,
okay. She never had that chance. They not
right.
necessarily left her by the wayside on purpose.
Mhm.
It just, yeah.
We have Sharon Carter after this little exchange, um, agreeing that she's going to be pardoned from all these things that she did in Civil War. She's going to go get the lead on this doctor and where he is. We get the lead, and we find out that he is in this shipping crate uh, yard, basically. And we go to this little shipping crate, and we're like, "Are we in the right spot?" It's all empty, but then we see it's like a secret like area where all these crates are, and we see his huge lab. And obviously, like he's just one guy, and one's like Falcon Winter Soldier, and we find out that this doctor has been working on the super soldier serum for years, ever since he had the blood of Isaiah, basically, from when he got tested
Mhm,
for his blood. He's been using that sample for many, many years to try and perfect the super soldier serum, and now he's gotten it and has enhanced it so that way it's like not physically shown, but it's still there, like
it's
inside the
stealth.
body. So we also find out that like he got blipped out. His research was going on, and then he got dusted by the snap. And we find out that he comes back, his research has been terminated, but he's still going to continue on with it. And then he perfected the formula and started doing it on test subjects, which became the Flag Smashers group that we see throughout these episodes.
Mhm.
What did you think about the Doctor, Billy?
I mean, I didn't really have too much of an opinion, and
Mm,
it was just such a small thing. I definitely think as almost everything does, it starts out with the right intentions, and then something happens, and it turns sideways.
Mhm.
Like him working with this FBI or the military, the government of some sort,
The CIA. He was working with
CIA.
the
Thank you.
CIA.
I'm sure that had some good intentions for some good applications to it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, things happen, and then it turns sideways, and it's not an admirable cause anymore. Now it's
Mhm.
kind of just selfish gain. It seems like
Right.
definitely thinks interesting didn't use the stuff on himself
Mhm.
if it was perfected.
I mean, I don't think you'd want to do that because what if there's an adverse side effect? Then your research can't go on if like something happens to you, you know?
I guess, but but it seemed like everything was fine.
Yeah.
I guess, but definitely think prison would have been the right way to handle that.
Yeah, because we see like after he gives up all this information that Zemo just shoots him dead. And
I
then
felt so bad at that moment. Like I was like that. Like I was mm, did not
but I
like it.
also kind of question like how much more information could he have given you, you know?
But not only that, just I mean like morally, I feel like just prison would have been the better
Don't
way to
kill him.
go. Yeah, like Sam, lock him up, bring him to prison.
Mhm.
You know.
But then we get like this huge scene where like we're in a chemical lab and there's a catalyst that obviously causes there to be a huge fire and explosion. And Zemo at this point dips. And I was like, okay, you know what? Zemo's now a villain. He's going to do his own thing.
Mhm.
But it turns out, you know, he didn't, obviously. But there's a huge explosion. Sharon Carr is trying to help him out and get him out of there. And now we have assault teams like converging onto them.
What was the catalyst? A rocket launch? Did
Yeah,
someone launch a rocket launcher?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Someone launched a rocket launcher. See, these are details I kind of forgot a little bit
that's
about.
okay. So then, yeah, so Bucky was the first to recover.
Hmm.
Uh, woke up Sam and Agent 13.
Hmm.
I'm
Why
gonna.
do you keep calling it Agent 13?
That's such a cool name.
It is a cool name, but like I always call her Sharon Carter Agent Carter, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Because Agent 13 is from the comics, but like I just never thought of her as Agent 13, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's okay, Sharon. But I don't know. Just Agent
No,
13
you
sounds
you
so
do whatever
cool.
you want.
It's like James Bond. It's like 007.
Yeah, but that's like a moniker that everybody knows about. Like Agent 13, they'd be like, who? Who is
Touche.
that? It's not like the main character in like a story, you know?
Touche. Okay, so Bucky wakes up Sharon and Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we have assault teams coming at them, trying to, take them out, basically.
Hmm.
And they like in this firefight, and even during this firefight, we have like Sam and Bucky are making like wisecracks to each other. It's like you should have gone left. I was trying to lead us out. It's like no, you should have gone this way with me. It's like
It's
really
in
we should
every
fight.
action movie.
In
That was
every
so good.
action movie, we go to the left and we
Yeah.
follow the left person.
So good.
So I thought that like Zemo was gonna do something to them towards this scene because he goes up into one of the crates, but it turns out he's just gonna, shoot the guys from above, basically, you
Hmm.
know. And then he goes and gets his car, and Sam, of course, is like, "Don't ever do that again," because he's obviously being reckless. He was reckless when he took Bucky's notebook when they were in the plane, because he was asking him about like Nagajima.
Hmm.
And Bucky went up to him and then he was like, grabbed his throat and was like, I will kill you if you take that ever again.
Yeah.
And like you see Zemo has a little bit of fear in his eyes. He's like, okay, I got it. Yeah,
Hmm.
totally understand. So he knows not to mess with Bucky. He knows not to mess with Falcon too, because even though he probably doesn't have as much intimidation, like Falcon and Bucky are both on the same side for their cause. And
Hmm.
they'll ally towards each other. And whatever Bucky wants to do with Falcon, they're gonna, ally towards each other. So
Yeah.
don't mess with either one of them.
No, I thought that scene was cool though in the plane where they referenced the book and how it was
Hmm.
Steve's and like the song, and then
Yep, the
Bucky was
Trouble
like,
Man song.
yeah, and then Bucky at first said he didn't really know how he felt about the song, and then he changed and he's like, no, he liked it, and Sam was like, how do
Yeah.
you not like the song?
Steve liked it.
Yeah, Just at first, like there was like a little hesitation or something.
Hmm.
But yeah. But back to the car scene, and then
Yeah.
Sam asks,
You're
or
not going to move your seat up, are you?
yeah,
He
call
goes,
back to this question. Yeah,
can you move your seat up? Back in Civil War when they were meeting up with Sharon Carter to get the stuff back.
yeah, yeah.
Winter Soldier is like, can you move your seat up? And he goes, no,
Mhm.
I will not.
And then he just shifts over.
And you knew that probably was going to happen, because that was the first big interaction between Bucky and Sam in
Mhm,
the movie. So, like, they had to do a callback to that.
mhm. It was good.
So we drive off, uh, and we're gonna go back onto the plane. We're gonna go to uh, back to America because we're gonna investigate whatever the CIA was gonna be doing with the super soldier serum, how it got into the hands of these extremists.
Mhm. Yep.
Are there any scenes that I'm kind of forgetting?
The only one I can think of is the very last one when Sam mentions that he's like he doesn't know how he feels about the legacy of the shield anymore, and
Hmm.
he says something about maybe he should just destroy it, and then
Yeah.
Bucky's like, no, he'll steal it first and basically keep it. And
Hmm.
I just thought that was interesting because at first Sam was like, we should idolize it in a sense, like put it in a museum, look at
Hmm.
it. And I was like, well, now maybe we should just destroy it.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting flip flop.
Hmm.
Um,
So, also another couple of scenes I completely forgot about. One, fake Captain America is at the prison
yep.
where they broke out Zemo, and
Mhm.
they're like, he must be aligned with Bucky and Sam. They had to. This is the only lead that they had, and now they're gonna be probably thinking of Sam and Bucky as like enemies of the state, basically,
Y-
enemies to their cause and whatever they want to do, whatever the America wants to do.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna try and go after them now. And now they're not just like, okay, we're gonna go our separate ways. It's like now we're gonna try and get you. Because now you just broke out this dangerous terrorist out of prison. For what reason? They don't know.
Yeah.
They only know that it's like Hydra and he has like Hydra secrets. So it's like that's the only reason why. But they're gonna be considered enemies of the state because you just broke out a domestic terrorist. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even his partner was like, you need evidence to prove something like that. And
mhm.
it just seems like the Captain America is gonna, like, I think, doesn't he say something along the lines of, do you think they'll care how they get the job done as long as they get the job done? And
Yeah.
that's like the totally wrong attitude.
Right.
Like,
And that shows that his power of being Captain America is really shown off in that scene where he just feels like, I am Captain America. I am this powerful, godlike being, which
he can do no wrong.
ironically, he is not even close to Captain America because I would bet you he can't lift Thor's hammer, which would make him a god.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know. Like, he can do no wrong because now he has
Hmm.
that title.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And the final scene I want to talk about in this episode is
Okay.
we see that Zemo, Sam, and Bucky are going into this building. I forget if we're in America or not. I don't think we are yet, but we're
Oh,
going
that's
into this
right.
building.
Yeah.
And Bucky notices something on the ground. It's one of these beats. And I thought that it was like Zemo having trackers with him, and he's like leading some group or something, maybe even the Flag Smashers, to their location to take Sam and Bucky, away to do whatever they wanted. But Bucky goes off on a walk. He takes a bead and he finds another one on one of the buildings and he goes into an alley. And there's no one there. And he's like, you dropped something. And he's looking around, there's no one there. And all of a sudden he's like, I was waiting for you to show up. And I had no idea that this was going to happen in this scene.
Mhm.
But we find out that it's one of the Wakandan generals, one of the higher ups in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And she goes up to him and she says, we want Zemo. Because obviously, like, even though Zemo is under arrest and in prison in Germany for what he did in Germany, he is still wanted by the Wakandan government for killing their king. So they still want revenge, their type of revenge. They have a different way of doing things in Wakanda because remember from Age of Ultron, they branded a thief with
Mhm.
the brand on the neck here.
Yeah.
So they do things a little bit differently in terms of justice and how they're going to handle, someone doing something like this. So that's why they know that Zemo's out and they want to do something about it. And I didn't even think that Wakanda was even going to be, involved in this whatsoever. But you know what?
at all.
I enjoyed this scene. I really liked that this is a little surprise. I was like, huh, this is going to be interesting. Now we
It's
got
like,
another side story.
is that a left field?
What did
Like
you think about it?
I thought so. First off, I was like, whoa, like they're bringing everything in. I love
Yeah.
this. And then like the other thing is like what they're gonna be doing with Black Panther. Unfortunately, is very uh nothing's really set in stone right now, just because of very unfortunate, sad events that
hmm
have happened. So I just thought it was interesting that they brought him in.
hmm
You know,
What do you think about like what's going to happen in the future? Like, do you think that Zemo is eventually going to end up in Wakanda and be captured by them and be uh, tried and justiced into their system, or do you think he's going to go back to prison in Germany?
that's a good question because so the mask is like is a big thing in the
hmm
comic books. That's like the outfit
Yep.
that he wears all the time.
hmm
uh, what I could see happening, I don't. It doesn't necessarily make the most logical sense. Is that the Wakandans do like another branding thing, like on the face,
hmm
which causes him to permanently wear the mask. And it gives motivation to why the mask is worn, and
Yeah.
it goes like some sort of punishment. The Wakandans do some sort of punishment that causes disfigurement of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
hmm
I feel like I know the Wakandans branded like before, but I feel
hmm
like the Wakandans are more advanced, and I feel like they'd have a more advanced judicial system for something
hmm
like that.
Because also, like, that was just for a thief. This guy killed the king of Wakanda. It's like
Yeah,
basically saying you're assassinating the president of the United States or the prime minister of a country. Like, that's a big deal. And
yeah,
especially for Wakanda, like, they are so loyal to their king. I mean, like, we had a whole movie to describe how we're going to get the king. All these tribes of Wakanda are going to come through and
yeah,
try and be a part of the ceremony to see who is the real fit king to rule over Wakanda. Like, they take this stuff seriously.
yeah,
And to kill a king of Wakanda, like, that's big. And they want some sort of justice for that. It may not be enough for them that he's in a prison in Germany. Like, they want their own form of justice.
yeah. I'm also interested to like how did Bucky know that like where to follow like those little beads and stuff. That was
Well,
interesting.
remember, those are the beads that like are on the wrist, from the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, like I just wonder like when he noticed.
I think he was around Wakanda enough to know that those beads meant something. I mean, like, I think they glow too, so I think he can notice it, you know?
Yeah. At first, I thought they were like the beads. They kind of, and Captain America 2. Do you remember like that little ball thing that he rolls under the car when Black Widow has like the voice recording of herself?
hmm
It kind of looked like that. That
Yeah.
was the first thing
Mm.
I remembered.
Now we've added another element to this already complex story, having Sharon Carter, having Zemo, having fake Captain America, and now having Wakanda in it.
Mm.
What's gonna come next in episode 4? I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And as I
That's
said earlier, like, in the last episode, like, I heard from an interview that like things are gonna get much more interesting as the series goes on. And we're halfway through and we got another 3 episodes left. So it's not gonna be long before we see things really start to shaping up.
yeah, perfect.
Do you want to talk about the Bad Batch at all?
But oh, it took me a minute to think of what that was. Um, it looks good. I mean, it's along the same animation style as the Clone Wars TV show,
hmm
the uh, Star Wars Rebels TV show, and
hmm
Star Wars Resistance TV show.
Yeah.
So it's along the same animation style as those three, and it
Hmm.
looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really get too much in this one clip,
No.
but it looks interesting.
Yeah. We basically have a premise that like there's a group of clone troopers that are going to rebel against like I don't know if it's the Empire or the First Order or something, but like they're going to be rebelling against this, and we don't know why they're really rebelling, you know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna probably find out why they're rebelling and why this is happening. It looks interesting. I'd be interested to see. Like, I think this is gonna be the first Disney Plus Star Wars show since The Mandalorian came out. I don't know if there's any other ones that will be coming out sooner than that, so this might be
First
the first one.
animated, at least.
First one for Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah. I recommend Star Wars Rebels to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Those
Hmm.
great series the whole way through.
Yeah.
Very similar, seems kind of idea. Um,
And while we're on the subject of Star Wars, like we're getting more casting news about like Obi-Wan Kenobi's show.
oh yeah, I'm
That
looking
one I'm
forward to that
excited
so
for.
much.
That's the one show for Star Wars on Disney Plus that I'm really excited for, other than The Mandalorian, because like we're getting the original cast from those movies coming back, even though those movies are probably not going to be the most regarded movies in Star Wars Legends. I still think that having these characters back and kind of exploring a little bit about Obi-Wan Kenobi and, Hayden Christensen's coming back as being Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. So it's going to be an interesting series going forward with this one. They're getting more casting news and they're going to start filming soon. So I think it's going to be really exciting for this show, at least.
Well, I mean, he did a great job as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like, people may not like the movies, but he did a gosh darn good job as acting as him.
Oh, yeah.
So I look forward to that. That should be good. I've been looking forward to that for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard like rumors about like an Obi-Wan Kenobi show for like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like, now we get it.
Finally. Okay, so I want to see your comic books. I'm excited to see about this.
Ooh, he's ready to see the comic books. I like that he's
I'm
now
ready.
taking initiative in this show. He
Oh
doesn't have
yeah,
to have me dictate it anymore.
show me.
Well, luckily for the sake of time, Billy, I just have but one comic book to show you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I mean it's a big one. I feel like
Oh, it's big. It's big. That's what she said. It's big.
we have
You ready?
kids watching this.
We'll cut that out.
So bad. Okay, what's the comic book?
All right, so today I got you Fantastic Four number 49.
Nice.
This is the second appearance and first cover appearance of the Silver Surfer. And it's also the first full appearance of Galactus. And this is part of one of the most legendary trilogies in Marvel history because Fantastic Four 48 is the first appearance of the Silver Surfer. I have all three, by the way. I have all three from this trilogy. So this is the last one that I needed for the trilogy.
Oh,
So 48, 49, which is this one, and 50, which is the third appearance of Silver Surfer, second appearance of Galactus. It's this huge arc that basically happens like in similarity to like the Fantastic Four movie from 2007, basically the rise of the Silver Surfer, where like he comes to Earth because he's the Herald of Galactus, and he wants Galactus to come to Earth when it has a moral epiphany when he meets the Fantastic Four and the humans, and decides to go up against Galactus, and that's where 50 comes in, where he decides to rebel against Galactus and use his powers against him, and he gets banished to Earth as his punishment for disobeying Galactus, basically.
interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
and
like
this
that
is
it
probably
completed your trilogy too.
yeah, and this is probably like the best cover of the three.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, nice Jack Kirby artwork. You always gotta love Jack Kirby artwork if
Mhm.
you're a comic book fan. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I even know what you mean, and I'm not even a big comic book guy.
You know Jack Kirby?
I do. He did some Captain America stuff, I think, right?
Yep, he did.
Yeah. So I remember seeing him somewhere in one of the books.
Legend.
Very much.
What do you have for us, Billy? What's your surprise?
So this week I have one more question, and then next week I will have something interesting.
Ooh.
So this week is one more. Yeah, I was just about to repeat myself. Yeah.
Just
So
making it one more.
next week I'll have something to show. But for
Okay.
today, my question to the viewers and to you, Rob, and then I'll also answer it is: if you could have one superpower, just one, what would it be, and why?
Hmm. Believe I have said this before to you,
Yeah, well, you've said this to me before.
and I might be like contradicting myself for saying a
That's
different one. I don't even know if you remember what I said.
Well, you're allowed to change and evolve, right?
Yeah, I know, but like I feel like I want to be consistent, with
Uh,
my answer because I think I had a really good concrete answer.
mhm. So,
Um,
what's your answer this time? And then, what was your answer that you thought you gave?
I don't know the answer that I had the last time. That's why I thought maybe you'd be like, oh, it was this originally, but now you've changed it to this. And I'm like, huh.
Mhm.
But I don't remember it off the top of my head.
That's okay.
If I had to think, I would go with flight.
Like Superman flight, or like something different, like Wanda flight.
Mm, I
Not
would want
necessarily
to
like the
have.
magic as Wanda, just like a hovering flight, or like a
Mm.
kind of thing.
Well, I mean, Superman can also hover too, apparently.
That's true.
So I would go with Superman flight
That's a
because I
pretty
like
good
to
one.
fly. It will get me from one destination to the next and like that. Who wouldn't want to be able to do that? If no one wants to sit in traffic all the time.
That's true. That'd be so cool.
I mean, Billy doesn't sit in traffic, so he has no idea what like that means.
I sit in traffic just in the passenger seat.
He doesn't have to be in the driver's seat having to go through traffic, so he doesn't know the pain that
I
we have
don't.
to go through, people.
I do not.
So I would pick super flights, so that way I could just fly around.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
D- Does super intelligence count as a power, or is that like not really a power? I should pick something else.
I don't think that's a power because like Reed Richards is super intelligent, for example,
But it's
and
just a part of him.
that's just a part of him. Tony Stark is also very intelligent. Sherry's very intelligent. They're not powered people. They just are very smart. What makes them
Okay.
really superpower is the powers that they have. Like, Tony Stark has his Iron Man suit, and Mr. Fantastic has, his ability to stretch his body and stuff. So
Yeah.
those are what makes them superhumans.
I would say either something along the lines of it's going to be a Captain America related superpower. I think we all knew it was coming.
Of course.
Um, Now I guess it's where we draw the distinction. Does just enhanced human abilities count as one power? Because it's not really super strength. Because Captain America doesn't really have he has strength, but he doesn't. He's not like Spider-Man strong or like Hulk strong or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Superman strong,
Mm-hmm.
and he's fast, but he's not like Flash or Quicksilver. So like, if I say enhanced human abilities, is that too generic or does that count?
Well, are you saying it's the powers that Captain America has?
Yeah.
Then I would say that counts,
Okay. Then that.
because that came from one thing. That came from the super soldier serum.
Yes. Then I would
It's
say
kind
that
of it's
because I
kind of
think
like
that'd be
saying
cool.
like you want to have the powers of Spider-Man. It came from one thing, the spider bite.
Mhm.
You would want to have those powers of Spider-Man, and you'd want to have the powers of Captain America.
Mm.
So I'd agree with that.
Spider-Man's powers is the second for me. That'd be pretty cool.
Hmm. My question to you is: would you want to have natural webbing or artificial webbing?
That's a tough one. I go back and forth in my head because, like,
Do you want stuff coming out of your body all the time, or do you
no.
just
And
want
does
to
it get
have
clogged up
webs?
if you don't use it enough?
Do you get web clots?
Yeah. And like, do I really want like that spot here? Like, can I wear short sleeves? Do I need sweatbands? And every time I go like this, do I really want things to be spraying out of my wrist? But then again,
Yes.
do I really want to have to keep paying for webbing and like have to make it and stuff?
You're right.
It's a tough one. I think the obvious answer, if you want to actually use it, is artificial or like no man-made in your body, because that's
Hmm.
the most like practical in a sense. It's the most cost efficient.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I feel like I want the gadget because I think the gadget's pretty cool. Like if
Hmm.
Tony Stark made it for me, I'd be happy with that.
Right.
But then I'd have to get Howard Stark to make me a Captain America shield too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of people hate the fact that like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had natural webbing because it's like kind of gross, you know?
It kind of is. But then I also find so the comic book people thought that, but then the non-comic book people thought that like Tom Holland Spider-Man who needs the gadget, they were like, that's so what? He can't make it? Like he can run out now? Like that's not good.
Well, I think it's like the argument is that like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he got the suit from Tony Stark, so it was made by him, but in the comics it was made by Peter Parker himself.
Mhm.
So it's like he just needed Tony Stark to give him a nice fancy suit, and that's not really what Spider-Man did in the comics. That's I think the argument that's being made there. It's not so much as that like he's using gadgets, is that like he's using gadgets by Tony Stark and not by Peter Parker, basically.
I see.
Let's get to the final word, which
Ooh.
is I'm gonna start with the final word since you started with the first word.
Yeah, of course.
So the final word for me is I am excited for the future of Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know, they have introduced new elements into the show that I think are going to be really interesting to explore and see where they're going to go. It's going to set up something. We don't know what it's going to set up, but like we know something's going to happen. Something exciting is going to be coming out because
Oh
we're
yeah.
already over halfway through and we're going to get into episode 4 next week. And that should be just as interesting. And we're going to have a lot of questions probably answered by the time we meet again next week.
So good. I can't wait. My final word, I guess, is I just think it's interesting that so Bucky and Sam are very um, reserved with who they wanted to work with, and then like who their third party partner would be. They
Mhm.
turned the Captain America down, but look who they're working with now. I just think
Yeah.
that's interesting. How they turned him down, and then
Well, I
so I
think it's
don't think the
because,
Captain
like,
America's gonna like that. That they wouldn't even work with him.
yeah. Because I think it's like what John Walker represents to them is the opposite of what Steve was to them. Steve was a friend to them. Steve was a symbol of hope and, freedom. And he was the ultimate good guy. This guy, he's proven nothing. And
Yeah,
he's actually showing that he's actually really against what Captain America had stood for many years. So
yeah,
that's probably why.
I agree. What's interesting is it seems, at least Sam seems to be holding it back better,
Hmm.
but Bucky's just not having it.
Yeah.
Sam seems more rational about it. Like he was upset, but yeah. What would Steve do? That's the question this week. Also, what superpower would you have?
Exactly. Well, that's our show, people. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Not as much of discussion as we did last week, but you know what?
Yeah,
We like to cut things down to the wire, basically. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe and like this video if you did like and want to keep on watching these videos. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, stay nerdy.
yeah. So yeah,
After we get this little exchange about how she wants to be pardoned, and they agree because she does deserve to be pardoned out of it because that's in the past and there's a lot that's occurred over the last few years.
Say that part one more time. You're freezing a little bit, so I think on
Okay.
the video it might be frozen. So I just want to give you a chance to say it.
Is it really? Can you see my head moving?
Yeah, let's give it like a minute to catch up.
Okay.
I really hope it doesn't freeze too bad because.
At least we can experience technical difficulty.
Well, I don't want.
There's your internet connection is unstable. I love that.
That stings. Let's try and do the rest of this quickly.
Okay, thank you.
What?
At least we're like halfway through.
Yeah.